Ooh, yeah.
Barely.
What's up?
Barely. Oh, these are just getting more and more like literally just hanging out with friends. Clearly, we don't even greet you guys anymore. We don't even say hello. Wade just comes in singing. We were upstairs listening to some praise and worship music.
Chase Mayo's favorite, yeah.
Chase sent us one of our favorite songs recently mine has been The Blessing, and so Chase sent us this new version, and so we were up there and we were watching it, and Wade was really feeling it. You were feeling it? You were feeling it all the way in the depths of your soul? Mm-hmm. So what is up, everybody? Welcome to Wednesday night with Better Together. We're so excited to see you guys. Hope that y'all have had a great week so far. My shirt says party animal, and there ain't no party in this animal at all.
No, I'm tired.
Seriously.
I'm very sleepy.
I know. I'm like, do I need to just go like sit in the sun and get some vitamin D and get some like energy going? I mean, I'm taking all my vitamins. I'm exercising. I'm doing all the things, and still yet there is no party in this animal. So
yeah,
you know,
I don't have anything to add to that.
That's
because I have no party here. But we are going to have a party
I'm
tonight.
just glad that there are really bright lights on this side, because it that's what I just need, a bright light to hang like over my head and follow me around in life, because it takes away all the things. That is the secret.
Yeah.
That is the secret of the bright lights. But thank you guys for joining us. We are going to have a nice little chat with our good friend James Hogue tonight. So we want you guys to be interactive in the comments.
I need to share it on the Facebook.
Wade is supposed to be pulling up Facebook. He was supposed to be doing this a little while ago. But we're so excited to talk to James. He is good. He is part of the Be About It conference, so we're going to talk to him a little bit about that. Plus, he has had many different roles as an educator. He's going to share what he's currently doing, but so many different aspects, working with so many different kids from all different areas and all different aspects. And so he's going to talk a lot about relationship building, because I know one thing y'all don't want to talk about is school next year. Like, we heard that message loud and clear in y'all's comments on Monday night.
Yes, we did.
We were talking with Amy and Van and Chris. We were kind of talking about what does next year look like. But we're not going to talk about what next year looks like, but we are going to talk about relationship building as we move into next year. So we're gonna talk with James about that in here in just a little while.
Yeah, I watched his session today, actually, and for the Be About It conference.
It's really good.
I mean, we've worked with James, and I've never had the opportunity to really sit down and listen to a keynote as an attendee, just more as a friend and a colleague most of the time. And I learned so, like, I was like, Hope, look at this part right here. I had to like rewind it. Like, I'm very excited to talk to him. I don't want to give away the details tonight, but.
So we won't talk about next year's school specifically. So let us know what you're doing for the summer. What are your plans for the summer? Let us know in the comments. I think that pretty much everybody is out of school, almost out of school. So what are you doing this summer? It's a summer in quarantine, semi-quarantine. So let us know. But we are going to go ahead and get James in here tonight. I'm going to see if we can find him on Instagram.
There it comes.
Let me see if I can. Oh, I see him right up there at the top.
Yeah. Follow directions.
I know he's on Facebook. I can see him. I can see him through Skype. Let's see if we can see him. Let's see if we can hear him. Let's see if we can get this conversation rolling. There he is.
There he is on the Facebook.
Okay, James, you got to accept me on Instagram. Do you see? There's on Instagram it says I requested for you to join. You got to join.
He's like, I don't know what.
He's on Facebook. Oh, his microphone's off. What does he need to do?
Just turn his microphone on.
Turn your microphone on, James. On your computer.
On your computer.
On Skype.
Not Skype.
Oh, not Skype.
Not this. What is this?
Guys, we're all learning together here. We're all learning together.
Sleepy.
We good? Maybe? Possibly?
He's doing it.
Okay.
Let me see.
I think he can hear us.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go.
We can hear you. And now
we're
on
action.
Instagram.
Let me turn this down.
Can you accept?
Is that better now?
Yeah,
yes.
you're good.
Yeah, you're perfect there. But on your phone, can you accept?
I can hear you guys. Yeah, I can definitely hear you guys. Y'all hear me? Okay, perfect.
Oh, there's
a delay. On your phone. Oh, let me request you on the phone real quick, James. All right.
I'm hitting where it's.
Okay.
Add.
There we go.
Here he comes. It says it's waiting.
It's acting weird.
I think there might be a delay on Facebook, but we'll see. We'll see if we can get him in. If not, y'all can just go straight over to Facebook and we will rock and roll there. Sometimes Instagram, you should never know. So we'll give you a few more minutes.
Oh my God.
You're fine.
So let's see.
It just went off on me. What
Oh, it
in
went
the
off.
world?
It says waiting. Live in Arizona and state is on a travel ban. Oh, goodness gracious sakes.
Oh my word.
Is it not working?
Several people said their Instagram is freezing, so I wonder if it is an issue with Instagram.
It could be Instagram. Maybe we just have to
Yeah.
do Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Instagram, if you can hear us, we're going to go over to Facebook because apparently a lot of people are freezing. We can't get it to work either, so we're just going to hang out on Facebook. So join us
on Facebook.
Okay.
Ah, one
There we go.
platform. It's
Chase
easy.
is really happy about not having it on Instagram. James, what's up? Can you hear us?
Yes. Can y'all hear me
there
still?
we go. Whew, and there's no delay. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
I
I hear you guys.
I don't know what's going on with Instagram. It's being crazy. People on there were saying it was freezing for them, so who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
Okay, it's all good then. It's all good, man.
Look, he's got his microphone and everything.
What is that?
You know-
mic? Golly.
What?
It's a little blue Yeti, you know. A little something. Nothing
should-
too major. How y'all doing, man? Y'all doing all right?
Good. Yes, we should have guessed the DJ himself. Have you accepted my name of DJ Hogue Bear, or like, are we?
I'm with it. No, I like it. I'm with that. I'm going with that one for sure. DJ Hoagie Bear. That's gonna be me for sure.
We're so excited that you are joining
I
us
know.
tonight. James, for everybody who does not know you, if you would just give them a little introduction of yourself, tell them who you are, kind of your background in education, and what you're doing right now.
Yeah. So again, as Hope said, my name is James Hogue. Currently, right now, my wife and I, we serve as lead directors for a nonprofit out in Branson, Missouri called Kids Across America. We're the directors of the elementary camp there. So it's a Christian sports camp for inner city kids. And so we lead camp for them. Currently now we're not in session due to COVID and everything. So we're just doing some things a little differently now. But as far as my background, I went to school, went to Anderson University for education, taught for about 5 years. And now I've been doing this role of nonprofit ministry work for about the last 3 to 4 years. And looking forward to transitioning back into the educational space in an administrative or a role like that. But currently doing some nonprofit work in ministry right now.
And you also have a beautiful wife.
Yes. Beautiful wife. We've been married right at 4 years, a little over 4 years. We're expecting our first child coming here in August.
Are.
So he's dropping August 11th. We're super excited.
He's dropping.
He's
Literally.
dropping August 11th.
Literally, he is actually going to do that. I don't know if you know how that works, James, but I do, and literally that's what's happening.
Yeah. So we had an appointment this morning, and my wife, she was like, listen, I'm not sure what this baby's doing. He's moving this one way. He's sitting right here to the side. I feel this pain. And the lady at the birth center said, yeah, he's moving his way down. He's getting ready to make his entrance. So we are excited about
Well,
that.
hopefully he will make his entrance on time for your wife's sake and won't wait 2 weeks late like Maverick did. He stayed in there as long as he could.
Maverick was 2 weeks? Oh.
2 weeks. Oh, my word. I was 42
tough.
weeks delivering. I'm telling you what.
And he's been a man-child ever since.
It's fact.
Yeah.
I was like
I
even
could see
looking at
it.
pictures. I was looking at pictures the other day and I was like, he literally never looked like an infant. I
Yeah.
think he came out at like 6, actually. He was like at least 6 years old. That's what it
Oh,
felt
my
like,
goodness.
looked
That's
like.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're so excited for that. We cannot wait for August
Yes.
11th to get here. But we do
We're
want to just
excited.
talk to you a little bit tonight. First of all, you're going to be part of the Be About It conference coming up on Monday and Tuesday. So
Yes,
we're
that's
really
correct.
excited
That's
about
correct.
that. Wade and I actually watched part of your session last night, and then Wade finished it up today. It's so good. It is so.
I appreciate that. No, I really appreciate that.
It's really content that everybody.
It's really,
everybody
yeah,
needs to
it's
hear.
just so powerful, and it's sorry, Chase gave me a note, and I'm reading, and I can't do both.
Wade is really bad at this,
I'm
actually.
so ADD.
And I
It's
had-
all good, man.
And I
It's
had the
all
note
good.
in my head ready to go.
But
Wade was just supposed to be talking.
No, yeah, sorry. But yeah, I mean, your whole session is about relationships and what that looked like for
Yes.
you and what you were taught in school. And if you didn't hear earlier, James said that he graduated from Anderson University. That's where we graduated from school too,
Yep.
as well. Great professors, but as you know, there it is. See, we're
Shout out to
proud.
What?
We're proud to be AU.
He has his shirt ready to go and everything.
There we go. So if you're on the Facebook, you
didn't
probably
plan that.
know about Anderson University with our people.
Yeah,
But
AU.
we're really proud of that. But like anybody who goes through education in college, it cannot prepare you for what you're going to experience
Not
when you
at
step
all.
your foot into the classroom. And you took those concepts that they taught you and they just really stuck with you. And this is just my perspective on your session and not giving too much away. But you were like, yeah, it was validated, but it was validated in a totally different direction than what they were intended and what you thought was going to happen. It was just really eye-opening. So thank you so much for sharing that session, because I know people are going to come away with it and they're just going to be like, man, being specific about relationships and what that looks like and the different components, and it's full of energy and it's exciting and it's funny. And you talk about bringing your snacks. What?
This is the most that I've heard Wade actually talk for a given period of time. So James,
I'm telling you,
my hat is off to you. You really blown him away.
Man. Listen, y'all family though, man. I appreciate you guys for the time when we were together, working together. You guys were definitely there for me a ton. And outside of the classroom, outside of the school, just in life, period. I remember times just going hang out, watching Clemson games, falling asleep because you guys had it so cold inside of the apartment. I remember those weekends, man. I really appreciate it when that was.
You already know.
Definitely, so for sure.
Well, James, the thing that you don't know about him, we're going to get into some talk about relationships, because I want to talk to you about your summer camps this summer, what that's going to look like. You know, there's so many uncertainties with a lot of things, so we want to talk to you about how you're handling that, as well as just talk about relationships. But one thing that I appreciate about James that you will find as well in his session, and if you just follow along with him on Instagram, is he will find the humor in everything. Everything.
Oh yeah,
everything.
In school, like when we were having hard days or whatever, you know, we all have those hard days as educators. I would just go find James, and we could find a way to take the situation, whatever it may be. Turner, I was never allowed to sit beside him in faculty meetings. Like that was not a thing.
It was so bad, but it was good.
It was good. So you talked a little bit about your background and that you spent, you were in education for 5 years, and now you are director over the summer camp program for elementary age kids, and that is going to look very different this summer. What are what does that look like for you guys as far as how you're going to structure things with the current COVID pandemic? Yeah,
so in all honesty, it canceled camp for us physically for the summer. So the vast majority of our young people, we come, it's called Kids Across America. And so we have young people from inner cities across the country that come out with small groups, church groups, youth groups, all that type of stuff. And so the vast majority of our registration happens from January till about May. And so that was right at the height of the virus. And so many of the groups that we had couldn't come. And so they had to pull out. And so we made the decision as a board, as an organization, to cancel camp for the summer. And so what we decided to go, we try to do a digital version, but it's hard to bring the camp energy, the camp feel into a digital space. And so we're just looking at more creative ways to get content in front of the young people, because many of the young people relied on camp as the week where they can come to just breathe, relax, get away from all the things that are happening day in and day out at home. And so by having that opportunity there, it provides them with, okay, we're going to provide them something, even though they can't be with us physically. And so we're just adjusting and taking it 1 week at a time, really.
Yeah.
It's tough, but
we're like a day at a time, a minute at a time, sometimes a second at a time. But one thing that I've always admired about you is the way that you intentionally build relationships with I've seen you interact with a lot of kids from a lot of different angles and aspects, and the way that you put so much intention behind the relationship building aspect of the work that you do with students. And so what you said that you're trying to maybe think about some digital options, maybe some online stuff. What, as educators, do you think that we can do as when we're, because a lot of us, I've seen on social media today, like some boards have made the decision that kids are going to be back in school full time. Yeah. Some school districts, they're like on this 3 different possible options for brick and mortar, and then there's going to be like 3 options within that. There's all types of different, what is even happening next year. But for teachers who might still be in a digital world next year, especially moving into, you're getting a new class, you're getting a whole new set of students that you don't know anything about. How can we build relationships? How can we maintain and establish a connection with kids from the very beginning without ever seeing them in person, without ever getting to know them in that brick and mortar thank you, style classroom? How can we do this digitally? Because how can we put the intention behind one of the most important pieces of the work that we do?
Yeah, that's key. Relationships, as we know, as hopefully everyone understands, are vital. There's no way you can really teach and educate well without them. And so one of the things I would say is, if it's in a digital space, to be creative with creating some form of survey or informational gathering for your young people, figuring out the things that they enjoy, figuring out the things that they dislike, and the way that they enjoy studying, the way they feel like they learn, things that they like, hobbies, all those things. Providing that information, gathering that information, so that when you create your lessons and create your activities in the digital space, you include those so it's more engaging for those young people. That'll be a huge way. And I would say make phone calls to parents or the guardians of those young people, to get to know them more, build that relationship so that the young people see it's not just the educator who's wanting me to learn. My mom or my dad or my grandma, my foster mom, whoever is on the same page with my educator. And so we're all in this together. But yeah, definitely some type of survey to gather information and connecting with those families would be huge.
Yeah, and these are things that I've known you to do and things that we've done in the actual classroom. And so it's really, I think as educators, we get so caught up in, but digital is so different and it's just a completely different world. And some teachers, some educators can't even see their students face to face. They don't even have the opportunity to Zoom. But making those phone calls and having those conversations, I think especially at the beginning of the year, one-on-one with students and with parents, and just taking that extra time that you have because you're not having to make copies or you're not having to do certain things at school, and really investing that in relationships.
Yeah, and that's something that you've always stayed firm in, is finding out what the kids are excited about, whether it's football games or singing or whatever it may be. You knew your kids, you knew what they were doing, you knew what they were excited about, and you would bring that into the classroom. And I firsthandly saw you craft your lessons for that. And so, like Hogue said, there's really nothing different with the relationship component. It's just there's a screen there now. And
exactly.
You issued a little Mr. Hogue's test in the session. Do you want to talk about that real quick? Because that's not giving a lot away, but I think it's really important for everyone to kind of understand what that looks like.
Right. So towards the end of the session, again, I walked through, here's a actionable step, a test that you can give, a survey that you can do for yourself to make sure, or a few checks and balances for yourself. And so the basics are, do you know the first and last name of your young people? If you don't know that, then how are you able to call them by name and call them out and see who they are initially? Even if it's a young person whose name is difficult to say or difficult to spell, spend extra time getting to know that young person so that they feel that, because young people know that they have difficult names because people butcher them and say them wrong all the time. And how validating will it be for that young person to say, man, everybody else messes up my name, but my teacher, he or she knows it. And he or she says it right every time. And that will provide even more respect and love for you as an educator. And they'll be like, I'm going to do even more for you because at least you know my name and you say it well. And so knowing names, birthdays are huge. You don't have to do a huge birthday party, but bringing a card or acknowledging the fact that it's that person's birthday that particular day will mean that, hey, I see you. And that is huge for so many young people. I'm gonna stop right there. But yeah, name, full name, birthday. What else was it? Full name, birthday, and hobbies, and a few hobbies that they do outside of school. Things that they enjoy outside of school, because we know them as the young man who gets the 75 on the test, or the young lady that gets the 89 on the test. But what about the young lady who enjoys art, or the young lady who enjoys this? The young lady enjoys reading, doing puzzles. Knowing these things and providing those things into your lessons will make it more engaging for the young people that you have in the class. It's a game changer for sure.
Yeah, it's just a simple test. It's an actionable thing that anybody can do, and just being habitual about it.
Yeah, and that's what,
I didn't mention this in the...
Yeah, no, go ahead, James.
Yeah, I didn't mention this in the session, but I should have. Like, when you create some table for that to get the names, the birthdays, the activities, and you are going to gather the information by conversing and having those conversations. Now, you don't want to feel, hey, so when's your birthday? okay, write it down right in front of them. No, it needs to be genuine. You don't want to show them that you are creating a table about them, but you need to make sure you gather that information. Don't do it in front of the kids. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't.
But it is really just about, those things, just taking that time, having that structured so that you are intentionally focusing on that. Because the thing about it is so many times, oh my goodness, as educators, we talk about this all the time. Our to-do list is never ending. It's a mile long. Mm-hmm. And so while we know that the heart of everything we do is relationships, and we know that in our mind, a lot of times that's not what our actions show, because it gets piled below all of the, I've got to do this now, and this is for now, and I've got to do this now, and I've got to do this now, and relationships tend to kind of go underneath all of that. And it's just about truly being intentional and saying, this is, one thing that I talked about at Get Your Virtual Teach On was priorities. And we talked about prioritizing your life, and how at home we have never found balance. Like, because balance indicates that things are going to be equal, and you're never going to have equal time for every little thing that you do. But the same is true of the classroom. Setting and establishing your priorities and recognizing, okay, this is what I want to spend the majority of my time on. This is what I want to focus on. And you have to truly be intentional about that and recognize that I only have so much time in a day. I only have so much energy in a day. I only have so much I can invest in a day. So I just encourage all teachers to really focus on, where do you want to spend your time? Really create a list, just like you would at home, of your priorities. And see where, to even do a challenge where you list your priorities of what actually are in your classroom, and then what you want them to be. Because if we're honest about where we are, then we can always move forward from that. So I think just being intentional is key.
That makes so much sense. Intentionality and consistency are vital, because it doesn't have to be 20, 30 minutes of your instructional time that you remove. But if it's a consistent, I know on Wednesday after lunch for 5 minutes, we will have time to discuss this, or Friday or Monday morning for 5 minutes, we're going to debrief about our weekends. If that is there consistently, then the young people can come in knowing what to expect. It's built into the schedule, and then they are consistent with, okay, I know that I have time to be heard here. I know that my educators will hear me here, and I know that I will have this time laid out. It's key. And then you can build your schedule around it. It's so important.
Yeah, so you've been in a lot of classrooms, a lot of different schools on, obviously in a different dynamic now. But what is one of the biggest mistakes that you have seen adults, and it doesn't just have to be educators, but adults make when building and establishing connections and relationships with students in the classroom, or just in general?
Man, I don't want to give too much away, but it's this idea of, I'm the adult, you will respect me. The idea that I'm entitled for you to treat me a certain way. Now, again, born and raised with the idea of respecting adults, respecting those that are in authority. But when it comes to this educational space, there has to be a time where I've seen so many adults abuse the title of the leader, abuse the title of the educator, or abuse the title of the executive, abuse the title in that way where they don't validate the feelings and the value of the young people. Again, I know that they are the children, you are the adult, you are the educator, they are the student, but even that young person has value, deserves to be respected, and things need to be handled accordingly in that aspect. So I've seen a lot of adults, especially staff, young people that we have come in and work as counselors here at camp with us. The idea that when these campers coming in, they come in, they chilling with me. I hear that, but you have to build that relationship. They're not going to automatically just follow through with what you say just because. A few will, but the majority will I need you to show me something first.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. What do you say? A title does what?
It just gives you time.
Yep.
It buys you a little bit of time
to
either prove or disprove what they think about you already. A title, man, I've seen so many people. I'm telling you. If y'all haven't gotten y'all tickets, y'all need to get them. I'm telling y'all.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good, y'all.
I'm telling you, wait for, it has like everything.
You need to get them.
It's all locked in there. The words of wisdom. It's all in there now.
James, what would your answer be to that question if we were to switch it and be more specific and talk about the mistake that you have seen white teachers specifically make while trying to establish and build connections with Black students in their classroom? Would you still have the same answer, or would it be different?
It would be this. It would be a similar, same answer. But I would say the ramifications really are a little bit deeper within it. I would say one of the major mistakes that I've seen with just white educators make is not realizing the historical background that comes within that relationship there, and not validating the feelings and experience of Black children in many cases. Again, not a blanket statement to all, but in many cases it's been a situation where, again, we see things through our paradigm, the way we grew up, our worldview. Things are this way, how we see it. And if things don't readily affect us right away, then we are not able, for the most part, to see outside of that. And so many educators I see are coming in with a worldview and a view of things, a view of education, a view of life, and a view of the school system very different than what their young people have. And the mistake I see is that when educators want to force young people to come and see things from their vantage point versus seeing it from theirs. My old director at camp used to tell me all the time, man, when I approach a situation when things are difficult or if I'm having a confrontation with someone, I always want to seek to understand before being understood. And so approach the situation by, let me seek to understand your perspective, your point of view before I want you to understand mine, because I can see where the miscommunication or the mishap is happening. But yeah, I would say that is not seeing things from their children's perspective can force them to try to fit a round hole into a square peg or whatever the case, something like that. Round peg and square, something like that.
We follow. It's quarantine. It all works. Everything works.
Right.
I like that though. Like you seek to understand where a child's coming from before they should understand where you're coming from. I mean that's brilliant. I mean, and that goes for human beings, I think, in general.
Yeah,
even adults,
for sure.
Just
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And students are, man, I know students are young, they're not adults yet, but they have emotions, they have feelings, they go through things just like we as adults do. And so to treat them with that dignity, like, I see that you are having a difficult situation, a difficult time now, and validate those feelings, but yet and still provide them with the resources and things that they need to move beyond it is so important.
So what would you say to, we have a lot of educators who watch and we're raising a child. You're about to know the blessing of that, James. I hope that you're catching up on all your sleep right now.
That's what everybody tell me. Get to sleep now. That's what everybody tell me.
There's not enough sleep in the world that can ever prepare.
Nah, it don't
help. Trust me. But we're going to pray the blessing of a baby who sleeps just like, a dream over you. Boys typically, from what I've recognized, do not do that. They're too, especially boys who like to get high in energy, which if he takes anything after you or your wife, then obviously you're going to be in for it. So.
At the birthing center, they told us, they were like, hey, count the movements that he makes within 2 minutes. They say you need to get at least 10 movements in 2 minutes. Man, my dude was at 10 movements in it was about 20 seconds. I was like, oh man, hold on.
So, just wait.
You're like, yes, but then you're like, crap.
What does this mean?
So
what does this mean? And I promise you, Maverick has not stopped since.
No, my back hurts.
What does it look like for parents when we're trying to teach our children how to have interactions with adults? Because then you're kind of, the roles are reversing, the roles are switching. And obviously, as we want to teach our children how to interact with their educators, how to interact with adults in society. How do we best equip them and prepare them for those types of interactions, especially in a classroom type educational environment dynamic?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's a great question. So make sure I understand it right. So how do we as parents teach or instruct our children how to interact with their educators in the classroom, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so I would say it's all modeling. Our young people, our students, act how we act. As you stated, hey man, if he takes anything after you or your wife, he will be high energy. He will have these things. And so I think that one of the bigger issues that I've seen, especially with working with young people, is that and parents is that the parents would try to tell the young people, I need you to do this, I need you to act this way. But the parents don't do the same thing when it comes to their interactions with the parents and people and the adults that they have in their lives. And so if we want our young people to act a certain way, we need to first model that for them. If we want them to be respectful to the people, their educators and their teachers and the administrators, but yet and still, when someone cuts us off, we flipping birds and cursing people out in the car, then that's the behavior that they're really going to take after, because they're like, I heard you say that, but what I saw or what I've seen you do is something totally different. And so first thing would be, we got to practice what we preach. If we want our young people to act a certain way, we need to be about modeling that for them. And then secondly, I would say we need to provide them with opportunities to practice that behavior. Again, not necessarily got to be like some corny role play or anything like that, but we have to provide a space where the young people can make the mistakes, can see how it's done the right way, and they can be instructed on, hey, when you interact with someone, this is what it should look like, and provide the space and opportunities for that to happen. But more importantly, it has to be modeled for them. We can talk to them for weeks and weeks on end, and they can seemingly get it. But one is situation when we lose it as the parent, then I'm sure they're like, oh, nah, that's how I might really act, because that's what you really showed me just now. And so that's probably what I would say is
modeling it. And I mean, I think it all stems back to what you said at the very beginning of this broadcast, is just relationships too, because you can't provide that safe space for kids to make mistakes if they don't feel comfortable with making mistakes. Right.
Exactly.
And just respect. I mean, just being respectful and what that looks like, and culturally, what does that look like? But then how do you know what culturally that looks like if you don't have those relationships like you touched on at the very beginning? So it's you definitely have to model what you preach. You have to exemplify the work and the effort that it takes for you to be that example too.
Right. That's so true. And that's even stepping away from like classroom and parents, like my wife and I, that's what we are constantly still working through and talking through as well, is just our communication and willingness to share how we're truly feeling in moments. Because the biggest issue is that in order for a guy or a person to really open up and say, man, I feel this way, this is why I feel, or I was hurt by this or hurt by that, that's a vulnerable space. And if the environment isn't created to be safe, where a person can let down their guard and be open and be honest about how they feel, then you will get surface level stuff all the time. And so for us as educators, that relationship and the environment and space within that classroom has to be created as a safe one, so the young people can feel like, oh, it's okay for me to make a mistake here, or it's okay for me to share how I'm really feeling, or it's okay for all these things to happen. But as you said, Wade, that only happens if we build relationships.
Yeah, and
I trust you.
And I've seen you do that, and I've seen kids, I've seen young men, middle school age, crying in your arms before. And I mean, why were they able to do that? Well, it's because they felt comfortable with you to be able to do that. And we have to provide that opportunity in that safe space, because feelings are real. It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, what gender, what sex, it does not matter. But we have to validate those and love kids, and creating that safe space is very important for that.
That's so real. And that, man, I know, especially for, again, we didn't get on this topic, but especially for Black men, we don't want to show no emotions, or men, period, really, like, I got to be macho. But, man, for me, even more so, I've seen that as Black men, like, bro, if you show emotions, you soft. Like, what are you doing? No. Like, you have to be able and willing to share how you feeling. Like, y'all didn't see me cry before. Like, it was like, it was a tough moment. And I appreciate the way you responded, bro. Wade, that was huge, man. Like, you don't understand. Like, you were the first person that jumped over there when we talked. When that situation happened, you were like, bro, we happening this. And so, but to show that emotion, for young men to be able to learn how to release that and talk through that, you save. If a young man learns to do that at 11, 12 years old, or even younger, they don't grow up as a 16, 17, 18-year-old young man who has held all these things in and all of a sudden explode. And, man, that the mental health, the willingness and ability to talk through and be willing to share is a game changer for real. Like,
it's powerful. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Powerful.
And that, I mean, just coming off of, as we go back into the classroom and coming off of, the quarantine and it being a traumatic experience for many, many students, many kids, many families, many, I mean, that is something that is so huge, is that mental health component and that checking in and understanding where our students are and where they're coming from and what they're working through. And really truly, I think that such a huge part of relationships is truly that safe space where they can come, they can let all of their walls down, they can be themselves. Like, how do we expect as educators to reach them with academics, to reach them as an academic student, if they don't even feel safe, by being themselves, by letting their walls down? And so I think, so much of that is so true, and just teaching students that it's okay. It's so that, one thing that I've learned so much during this quarantine, because I'm a woman and I, have always been, a tougher, I'm not super emotional. And so I've not been one to just cry all the time or show a lot of emotion. But one reason for that is because, I feel like one thing I've learned during this time is that all feelings are valid. Like, even if it's not the right feeling or the right emotion for what others perceive to be how you should feel or how you should respond or how you should act. And I think this is a message that we've got to start giving to our students all the time, is that however you're feeling is how you're feeling. It is validated. It is real. And now we can work through it. But I think that just being able to teach kids, and I'm learning this as an adult, somebody who's struggled with panic and anxiety for a long time now, and starting to recognize that a lot of that comes from not being able or willing or feeling like I'm weak if I'm naming how I truly feel.
Yeah.
And so I think if we can...
I appreciate you sharing that. That's real. And I think, again, as I stated, with the parents modeling that happens with educators modeling that as well.
Yes.
For example, if you are, as the educator, and you make a mistake on something in the class where you made a mistake and you misquoted a date or misquoted something, own that. Like, you know what, y'all, I messed up on that. Man, you know what? Or if I'm feeling angry, like, you know what, guys, I'm not feeling the best right now. In the best way possible to share that with your young people, but showing and acknowledging and owning your mistakes in front of your young people is huge. It's huge. If you came down on a young person, like, man, why did you doing that? But you really come out and found out that it wasn't him or wasn't her, publicly apologize. Like, you said it publicly. Well, you know what? Hey, bro, my bad, man. I thought that was you. It wasn't. Own that. Because then that provides with the young people, like, some educators may think, well, that shows weakness, that they may undermine my authority that way. No, not necessarily. What it really would do is show them that, man, you know what? He owns his. And I can respect the person that does that. It's key.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this, James said that he wants to go back and be an administrator. So if your district is looking for a principal, there you go.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time at camp and what I do at camp. I love that for sure. It provides another way of educating young people, removing them from their environment and getting them back, charging them up while they're there. But yeah, the goal really, and I want to jump back into the administrative role, and a really ultimate goal would be to open up my own deal at some point. So
that's
5-10
awesome.
years down the line,
Woo!
open up my own deal,
That's
man. I really do just want to, because people always ask me. So I don't know if anybody knew this. I was homeschooled all the way going through college.
We knew that. Yeah.
All through.
Oh, yeah.
And so everyone keep asking me, like, James, are you and Sean, are you guys going to homeschool James? He's going to be the second. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I don't think we are. I don't want to homeschool because I want to open their own deal, so bring somebody else into it as well. And so, yeah, that's the goal, to get some experience, build. Been gathering that experience, getting the degrees for it, and now it's like, let's put a plan together.
Yeah.
Do you have a location of, like, what would be your ideal location if you were to open up your own?
Man, ideal. I'm born and raised in Detroit. So I'm born and
yeah.
raised in Detroit. Born and raised. I would love to do it there. My wife is like, no, it's too cold. We're not
It
going
is
there.
cold.
She doesn't like the snow. She's like, listen, it's not happening. Not happening. So, Carolina will definitely be on the list. The Carolinas. My wife is from Mississippi. Maybe Mississippi. I know they kind of rank
The SIP.
further down on the list, so I would definitely do the SIP. But But yeah, I don't know. I'm wide open, really wide
That's
open.
awesome.
We got a lot of people
exciting.
watching, so you never know. They may be like, "Hey, I got this idea already." Come on.
That's
So,
funny.
Not us, though. Not us.
No.
Okay, nah, it's all good.
No.
You already know if y'all need us, if y'all need me, let me know. I'm there for y'all.
So the final question that I have for you is, as we're building these relationships with students, especially going back into potentially a digital setting, and so much of this is so new for educators, but I think just honestly, what we once knew about education and what we once knew as the normal is no more, and it's going to be now a new normal, a new education, a new way of doing things. There's a lot of, especially when things are new, and especially when it's high anxiety, and especially when things are frustrating and difficult for educators, which education has honestly been the world since this pandemic began. But obviously with all of the heightened areas of those feelings and emotions, and trying to establish real connections and trying to maintain those, there's going to be times that we slip up. There's going to be times that we either let frustration get in the way, or we miscommunicate something, or we're just not connecting with the student the way that we think that we should. How do you address those situations when you face them, where maybe it was a difficult connection, or you just weren't quite there with the student, or you couldn't make that connection work, or you messed up in some degree? How do we fix those kind of bumps in the road and continue on building meaningful relationships?
Oh man, that's a good question. I will go back to the words that ring in my head from Miss Oldenburg at AU. Being a reflective practitioner, be reflective. Always take what you've done and reflect over it and see, okay, why was this successful? And figure it out from there. And if it was successful and you see why it was successful, emulate that, continue to do that. If it was unsuccessful, then evaluate why was it that way? Did I not plan the right way? Did I not execute the right way? Was it not engaging for the young people? And so being reflective over those things will be huge. But then I would say the biggest thing will be also is just taking every moment as a learning environment. Whether it went well or not, take it as, okay, I learned from this and now I can do more moving forward. That's how I would normally respond to it. And it's just in this time after this pandemic and after everything that's going on, we have to be gracious with ourselves. Is that, man, we are, as you said, we're coming off a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
So be gracious with yourself on that. But the biggest, and also it's man, you have to just make sure your personal health and who you are, your well-being is together. Like you said, you gotta make sure your life is in priorities together, because there's no way you can instruct a young person on how to get over something if you haven't gotten over it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so,
100%.
and so that's being reflective, take it as a learning environment, and making sure that I am fully healthy in all areas before I'm trying to help someone else. As they say on the airplane, put your mask on before putting someone else's.
That's right.
And so,
well, guys, James,
I gotta point that out, Miss Oldenburg.
I'm telling you.
I mean, she's Facebook friends, so maybe she's watching.
Man, listen,
she put us
that
through
was
it.
the toughest class I ever
All
took
of
in my
us.
life.
Oh my
Miss
word!
Oldenburg, that was the toughest class. I said, listen,
And
Miss
look
O.
at you still. See, this goes to prove that those teachers who just push you to where you're like, oh my goodness, I can't go on, I can't do this, and then they show you that you can.
They do.
And she was so good at building relationships, and truly every student knew that she just loved them so deeply.
But she did not let up though.
She was
like
hard, man.
She loved you, but she was tough.
I am not going to make it through this class. Jeez. And I was a student. Wade was not a student. Wade was not you don't love
school. I was like, I went to school.
I love being a student. Wade does not feel that way. And so, oh my goodness, I was just like, when I knew he was going through her class because he was coming up after me, I was like, oh boy.
I had her I had her for 3 different classes.
Oh no, I had just the one, the methods and materials for reading.
Reading,
reading.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She was so good.
Do you still have your notebook? Because mine was about this thick.
Mine was, that's why I didn't get the A. Mine was like, maybe this big. With the reading plans and all the books and all that.
Oh my word. I wish I could find that stuff. I think that I had it for the longest time and I finally got rid of it when I changed schools, but my goodness. Oh, telling you, those were the good old
She
days.
made us who we are.
Well, you can catch James and his session at the Be About It conference. It is coming up on Monday and Tuesday of this next week. Chase has put this note up, and I cannot remember for the life of me what it said, so he put it up again. That Eventbrite, this is actually really cool.
I'm reading it now.
They're featuring the conference in their racial equality series, which is really awesome. So they're waiving all of their service and credit card fees. And so all you have to do is pay the $60 for the ticket. You don't have to pay any additional fees for credit cards or for processing fees like they usually charge. So what about that's a steal?
Eventbrite, like coming in clutch.
Man, come on, Eventbrite.
I know.
It's crazy. Yeah, we got that email today, and I was like, let's go.
We got to give Eventbrite a little shout out for the love. But James, we're so excited about we've seen your session. We've been the ones lucky enough to be able to see it, but we're so excited for everybody else to be able to see it. And we're so excited to celebrate with you guys when you have a little one coming so soon.
Listen, we're so excited. I can't even put it into words. We're so excited about this little guy coming.
We'll have to get you back on here and check in with you after the baby's here so we can see.
You have some bags under my eyes or something.
It's fine.
It's totally fine.
We won't do a side by side. Trust me. If you see my side by side,
just light at the end of the tunnel.
It'll happen. You will make it. But
so wait. You didn't gain no weight, right? Wait, you didn't gain no weight as a father, did you? Okay. All right.
No.
Make sure you okay.
Want me to shut? No.
Nah, don't do it.
No, he did not.
Nah, I was we had committed to run this marathon, so
I'm still trying to lose baby weight a year and 15 months later. It's okay.
Yeah, so like when he would nap, I would go for a run, and then when he was napping, we would switch when she could run again, and so we just made sure.
I gained enough for both of us, so he didn't need to add anything extra to that, so that was good.
No.
Oh, yes? Oh, okay.
No, I was going to say, you need to go run.
We should have.
Okay.
Nope. Guys, it's not a glitch. It's not a... This episode was going so well, James. It was going so well, and then
I shouldn't ask that question. That's on me. I'll take
that.
But
see, guys, this is why we couldn't sit together in faculty meetings.
No, you know who couldn't sit together? You two plus Brandon Fleming.
Oh yeah.
That was.
That's what I'm talking. That night when we came over and watched Clemson play, I think that was in one of the bowl games.
Oh man.
I think. Me and Flynn were knocked out on the couch. I was like, wait a minute. We didn't even watch the whole game. It was so crazy. It was so crazy.
Oh, my goodness. Oh. Seriously, James, though, we always love spending time with you. James was for those of you that are watching that were at the Wildcard Kids book release, James was the DJ there. He's a man of many talents.
Right.
Just a few.
So good. You're going to pass them all on to James. Is it James Jr. or James the second? James
the second. The second.
That is awesome. Well, please give your wife a big hug from us and tell her that we're so excited for you guys. Thank you for being on tonight, and thank you for being part of Be About It. And we'll have to have you back on, like I said, to do a check-in after baby gets here. But we will talk to you soon, my friend.
All righty. Thank you, guys. If you haven't gotten your tickets, go get your tickets.
Tell them.
Right. We appreciate y'all.
Tell them. Thank you, James.
All right.
James Hogue, everybody. He is just, I'm telling you, we've worked with him. We've seen the work that he's doing with his students, and He just does incredible things with kids, and he, like I said, is so intentional. We've learned so much just about watching him and the connections that he's able to make.
Just a great man.
Yes.
Great man, great educator,
going to be an extraordinary father.
Great father.
No doubt.
Oh yeah.
Already. So thank you for joining us tonight. Just about a little bit of chit chat about relationships as we head into next week. We kind of wanted to head into next week by featuring one of our presenters for Be About It. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, you can go to beaboutitlive.com and you can get your tickets for Be About It coming Monday and Tuesday. We are so excited for this conference.
It's gonna
so excited to be here, to
away.
be learning with you guys. Make sure that you show up. Make sure that you tell your friends, bring them along. It is going to be powerful conversations, powerful dialogue, and more importantly, powerful community. There is power in a community, and that's what we are going to build at Be About It. So make sure you are there. We will not have Better Together next Monday and Wednesday. Remember, Better Together is every Monday and Wednesday, but not next week because we are going to be having a live for Be About It. So we'll still be here, but just in a different way.
We'll be here at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. on Monday.
8 p.m. on Monday night.
You'll get to see inside peeks of the conference. And we're also going to be having just some reflections and some presenters and answering some of your questions that you have during the conference, which I know there will be a lot.
And there should be.
So make sure you tune in during that. And then the following week, we will have Better Together, Monday and Wednesday. And then, guys, we are actually going to
go on a vacation.
And go on vacation. And we're really excited about that. So then we will be taking a couple weeks off, but then we will resume after that is over. So thank you for always joining us. Thank you for interacting in the comments. And we will see you guys on Monday for Be About It Live. See you then, everybody.
Bye.